Good morning, Command Bar. Good to see you. You are first. You are indeed first. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you. Good day, Elmanian. How are you? Good to see you, sir. All right.
Ilmanian is telling you to drink some coffee.
Yes. Let's get that coffee. Ah, it's so good. I'm gonna go get another cup here in a few minutes. I haven't been very good about taking breaks while streaming. Need to do a better job of that. All right. So I think the first thing I'm gonna try to tackle today is I'm gonna try to adding support to Zoe for opening links. Zoe, I think that's how you say that word. This is my Rust notepad uh, application. I've been slowly trying to make it better, slowly pushing it towards getting it ready to actually like publish it. I think this is the last thing I need to do, or the last feature I need to implement before I set up some automated publishing. Okay, so let's see, terminal there, neovim's there, bottom's there. That's good. Let's activate focus mode. Okay. I forgot to charge my watch last night, so let me put that on the charger. Hey, good morning, Got Rock. Another good morning? You're right, it is another good morning. And how lucky are we? We woke up this morning, and at least in my case, I'm healthy. My family's healthy. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Let's see. I need to set that there. Is my phone charging? There we go. And my phone's charging. I fell asleep on the couch last night and forgot to plug in my stuff. Ilmanian, go ahead and lurk away. That's totally fine. We encourage lurking here. And I'm going to eat some oranges. Hello, Duck Boy. How are you doing? Good to see you guys. I'm going to put it in chat mode for a second here while I eat this orange. Steven, this is how I feel today. Face, blue, wide eyes. Oh, I can't see that. Let me go to YouTube. I can't see those emojis. Why? What happened today? Anything notable happened today? Or you just generally feel that way? Oh, you have a math tournament? Why are you doing math tournaments? How old are you, Command Bar? Are you out of school? Or are you still in school? Or are you just like a random adult who does math tournaments for fun? Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that might be kind of odd to be an adult who just goes to math tournaments for fun. You know what's so weird? You know how when your phone dies and you turn it back on and like all the notifications that you should have gotten when it was on come through? To me, it's kind of wild that it works that way. I would think those notifications would just die. Like, I would think you would just never get them. I wonder how that works. Like, where do those messages get persisted at? Or where do those notifications get persisted at? I guess in whatever company's database who sent those notifications. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I just got like a flood of them. Nice. Well, congratulations on getting picked to go to the math tournament, man. I hope you crush it. Good morning, Inspire. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Math is fun. If only it'd make me money, I'd keep learning and doing that forever. Really? You would do math for fun? Yeah, I don't know. How could you make money with math? I mean, I guess you'd have to be a professor or like a researcher or something. Feeling like shit, but great to see you, friend. Really? Just like you're sick, like you have a cold? I'm doing well. Yeah, no complaints over here. Life is, there's nothing to complain about. And any problems I do have are so small compared to everybody else's, you know? I need to do my taxes. That's like the biggest problem I have right now is I need to sit my ass down and do my taxes. I used to look forward to doing my taxes every year. Now I don't because I always end up owing money now. I rarely ever get a refund. Inspired not emotionally and work wise, have too much to do that makes me do nothing. Well, I'm not sure I have good advice to deal with that. My answer whenever I feel overwhelmed with work or my personal life is I make a list. I don't know why it works, but for whatever reason, whenever I make a list, it makes me feel much calmer. I have been a little bit sick for the last few days today. Hopefully, I'm going to be better. I'm sorry, Omani, and that sucks, man. Being sick's the worst. Your health is your most important thing. You got to prioritize it. I want to go to electric and hardware faculty in Serbia or electro technica faculty. I can't say those last three words, but that's cool, man. Well, I hope you achieve that. I hope you achieve that. Inspire, yeah, makes sense. I guess it's just the monotonicity of it and the feeling of being stuck. What does monotonicity mean? I don't think I know what that word means. Hold on. I think I get what you're trying to say, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% confident I know the vocab. The popularity. Nope, that's not right. A downward. I don't know what the word means. This is talking about math. Oh, tedious, repetition, dullness, a lack of variety or excitement in a situation, task, or sound, often leading to boredom. Yeah, that sounds like I don't want to be depressing inspired, but that sounds like life. Unfortunately, my wife and I talk about that quite a bit. That one of the things nobody tells you as you get older is that having a successful life really looks like doing a lot of the same things every day for a long period of time. No, no one really tells you that when you're growing up. And I also think it's hard as you get older, especially as you become an adult. There's not like when you're in school, it kind of feels like you're marching towards something always. Like you're moving to towards high school, then you're finishing high school, then you're moving through college, then you're obtaining your college graduation, then you're getting your first job. But at some point, that sense of direction or that sense of clarity about like the thing you're headed towards becomes much less defined, and the the length of time it takes to reach that thing just gets really really long. So I feel you, man. There is definitely a monotone to life, and that's where you kind of have to find a way to find contentment, right, and happiness and joy in the small things, right, like having working with a mechanical keyboard. Like you just got to kind of sprinkle things in your life that bring joy and contentment as best you can. Laugh my ass off. I'm in it in the sense that life is pretty much not changing. Yeah, I mean I'm in that stage of life myself, inspired. Like people ask me all the time, like, well, what'd you do this weekend? Well, what's going on? It's like I'm a dad. I've got a family. I've got two boys I'm trying to raise. Like life is about stability and consistency right now. It's not about doing a lot of exciting, big, ambitious, risky things. All right, time to try to tackle this guy. So, real quick, let's get clear on what we want to do. So, whenever we're creating a markdown file in this application, links do not work currently. Noob Master, yo brother, I like the way you talk and teach about economics. Well, Noob Master, good morning. Welcome to the stream. I don't typically teach and talk about economics though. So I'm not sure I'm the guy, right? not I'm not sure I'm the guy you're looking for. Ah, Rust build times. It's a wonderful thing. I think he's referring to your recent project. Oh, yeah, the physical S thing maybe teaches a lot about economic. Oh, really? Huh. Ilmanian, is the Rust app done? Pretty much for the most part. Today we're going to try to add link support for Markdown files, and then it should be pretty much good to go. So right now it will display as the link, but when you click it, nothing happens. But I'm pretty sure I can fix that. And I think there's actually an example of this in their repo. Let's see, ice.rs. think there's actually an example. Let's see, examples, editor, source. Pretty sure. Maybe it's not in there. Maybe it's in the markdown example. You have a blog? Yeah, I have a blog. Yeah, blog.stephenfreeborn.com. Yeah, I have a blog. All my links actually, all my links are here. links.stephenfreeborn.com. I try to put everything that people might want to see or use on this website. Man, let me go and devour it. Okay, nice. Go for it. Do it. Here we go. Link click. Oh, this supports image. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Should our thing support images? That might be an interesting one to support. Let's see. Link clicked. So how do they click the link? Web browser open. Where does the web browser come from? Huh. I don't know where they got the web browser. But somehow they're just calling web browser open, then passing the link. Let's see, link clicked. Now, how are they registering that?
Did we just become best friends?
Vander, thank you for subscribing. We appreciate you. It's very kind. Oh my gosh, feeling crowdy today? What's feeling crowdy today? Oh no, Rust again. Yes, Rust is happening again. We'll do some C# too, but I've been trying to carve out time every so often to still try to make progress on this application. This is interesting. The way he parsed the markdown is he is doing it like every 10 milliseconds. He's doing it one token at a time. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's performant. Let's see, code block, download image. I don't understand where the link events get registered. That's the update function. Here's the view function. So where does the markdown happen? Okay, markdown view with custom viewer. Message link clicked. Oh, here we go. So we have a custom markdown viewer that says on link click, message link clicked. So does that mean I have to implement my own viewer to make this work? I don't really know. TIL, I can open the Twitch website on my phone to watch without an account. Nice, I didn't know that was possible. Very cool. Switch to Twitch. Twitch is more quiet. It's them Thursdays. Thursdays are what is wrong with chat. I don't feel like there's more people here than normal. I feel like we've got a lot of normal folks, like a lot of regulars. Command Bar, Inspire, Duckboy, Gun Highs. Yeah, I feel like it's a good group of regular folk. Good morning, Link. Sorry I missed your message. That's my bad. Uh, I wonder. Okay, let me see if there's a simpler way to do this. I don't really want to implement my own viewer. That feels hard. Let's go down to the preview. Okay, markdown. So, oh, is that already? If I were to, oh, okay. So do I just need to open? Do I just need to react to this? Let's see. Handler. Linked click. Opening link. So is that working? Oh, look. It already. So I already have support. I just need to do the browser opening. That's hilarious. So how do we? Past Steven was thinking about this, but past Steven forgot that he was, or future Steven forgot that past Steven had thought about this before. So how does he open the link? Web browser, open. I don't know where web browser comes from. So let's do let web browser open. Twitch has 3 people right now. That's a lot of people for Twitch. My Twitch is pretty small. I don't know how you get followers on Twitch. I don't know how that works. Guys, this border will someday break Instagram and YouTube. You think Instagram and YouTube will eventually join forces? I don't know about that. Rust library inspired by the web browser Python library. Rust library to open URLs and local files in the web browsers available on a platform with guarantees of consistent behavior. Okay. I will take this crate. So how do I install? I forgot how to install stuff. What is it? It's cargo install or something. Cargo something or other. Cargo yeah, install. Cargo add. There you go. Cargo add. Okay. We'll do let.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, Inspire, thanks for becoming a member. That's super, super kind of you. Way more generous than I deserve, but appreciate you. All right, let's see if that works. Cargo run. I don't know why I wasn't before. Oh, no worries. You don't need to become a member at all. No expectation that anybody becomes a member. But if you want to become a member, I would love for you to be a member. I've been trying to make some members only content just as a way to say thank you to folks who will do that. So I will continue to make members only content, but there's no expectation that you become one. Oh, I also probably need to update my members list now, huh? Give me one sec. I don't actually think I've done this in a little while. Let's see, down. Plus, we have plenty of time to take care of housekeeping chores while Russ builds our project. Okay, finished. Let's see, rename that. And then we have to go into update lists. We need to do .NET Twitch subscribers, .NET YouTube, and then we have to go into meld. We have to restart these guys. Okay. And then we'll come back here. Wonderful. Then back to, so hey, welcome to the party. Steven is worth it. I don't know. I don't know about that, but thank you guys for saying such kind things. That's really nice of you. Oh, command bar, don't even worry about that, man. When you grow up, you spend your money on things that make your life better. Cargo run. Oh no. Expected value found crate web browser. Use the path separator to refer to an item. Ah, yes. This makes more sense. See you, command bar. Have a good day. Good luck at your math tournament. Hope you crush it. Anyone in YouTube interested in switching to Twitch? I'm guessing this is why Twitch doesn't want combined chat on screen. They don't want people luring each other to the each other's platform. Okay, let's try this. So let's have another link here. It worked. It worked. Looky there. Well, that was pretty low effort. Yeah, that was super low effort. Awesome. I basically didn't have to write any code. I basically just had to install a crate and wire it up. All right, cool. Very cool. I did see though they have the ability to support images in their viewer, which is kind of cool. Kind of like that idea. If you look at this code, he has an image is shown and an image is downloaded. He even has animations that handle, I guess, it being downloaded correctly. That's really cool. But it seems like in order to do that, he had to implement his own handler. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Or, sorry, his own viewer. So that might be something I tackle at some point. But today, goal accomplished. So let's do git add. How do you format your code in Rust? Is it cargo form fmt? Cargo format. I think it's FNT. Yeah, cargo format. Cargo FNT. Okay.
Did we just become best friends?
Saltrick. Thank you very much for the subscription, man. I appreciate you. It's very kind of you. Add support for opening links. Which makes it sound like I did something, but all I did was install a package. GHPR create. Oh, yeah, that's already the title. GHPR merge. We're going to rebase. We're going to delete. We're going to submit. Cool. And then we're going to install this for myself. Cargo install. Command bar git exits for Windows. Oh, git exists for Windows? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Git works on Windows. Yeah, 100%. The most viewers I see on Twitch is like 13 people. Nice, nice. Yeah, I try not to worry too much about the numbers. I just try to show up and enjoy talking with you guys and working on my code and occasionally learning something new from chat and having some nice quiet time in the morning to be up before everybody else and make a little progress every day. You know, I figure, let's see, if I get up every day, let's say I get up, let's run the math on this because the math is actually pretty impressive if you think about it. Oh my goodness, why did that zoom in like that? If you think about it, if you wake up early every day, let's see, let's say roughly 2 hours. So 2 hours times, let's say, well, actually, let's do 95% times 365. 365, what is that? 346. So 346 times 2. That's over 692 hours of time that you have to allocate towards something, right? Which is kind of nice. And I've just chosen to allocate it towards programming and coding. It adds up, man. You know, small steps climb mountains. All right. Now we're going to switch over from the Notepad app to the Finance app. So we've got our new Notepad, or let's still building. Saltrick band. Hi, what are you building? So we were right. What we started with this morning was adding adding a feature to this Rust Notepad app that I've been building. So that's what we were looking at just now. Yeah, cool. And then we have word wrap too. I added word wrap yesterday, so now you have word wrap. Booyah. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna switch over and we're gonna work on our personal finance app. So, but if it looks cool, yeah, it is cool. We had a lot of fun learning. I had a lot of fun learning Rust. Although I did get frustrated a couple times, I will admit. um, but yeah, we had a lot of fun learning how to use Rust. Rust seems like a very nice language to work with. It does have a little bit of a learning curve, but a lot of cool things there. Okay, now we're going to switch over to this guy. And I honestly don't really remember where we left off. I think if I recall yesterday, we had gotten to the point where we can register a webhook. Yeah, we'd gotten to the point where we can register a webhook. And now we actually need to be able to listen for those events, I think, is where we are. Good morning, Minister of Defense. How are you? Inspire. I tried Zig and it's quite significant there too. Yeah, somebody told me that the Zig documentation is out of date too, so that makes it hard. How's the Rust learning curve in general? It's pretty steep. If you're not coming from a low systems level programming language, I think it's pretty steep. If you're writing C or C++, maybe it's much more natural for you. But yeah, if you're coming from something like Java or C Sharp or TypeScript or JavaScript or something, I think Rust kind of has a steep learning curve. Inspire. Let me open a quick PR. Be right back. Remove it from Windows. Drinking my coffee. Nice. I actually need to go get more coffee. I'm at the bottom of my first cup. All right. Well, well, well. What are we gonna do now? Okay, so I added the Fire webhook so that we could test things. So that's good. Let me go ahead and open another terminal because I'm gonna have to run ngrok in the other terminal. Oh, I don't do deb, by the way. Zig is just something I found fun in general to learn. Nice. Funny how none of the things you do are related to my work at all. Oh, that's hilarious. But totally. I mean, that's totally okay, right? It's okay to have interests outside of the thing you do for work. And I still learn a bit or two about stuff. Nice. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you like to hang out here. Soutrick. I've been programming in Rust for some side projects and had written a small crate called Latex Clean. It cleans auxiliary files generated by latex. Nice, very cool. I really like the language. Well, I'm a total Rust noob, but so far I've enjoyed the language. Although I do find lifetimes a little confusing, and I do find the async story in Rust a little confusing. So I definitely have a long way to go before I would consider myself proficient, but I have enjoyed learning it. Okay, ngrok. We're gonna proxy to this guy. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's open a new terminal. I wanted to write a convex optimization library from scratch in Rust. My next project, I guess. Very cool. I love convex. Big convex guy over here. Big convex guy. Of the code, he spends 80% of the time tweaking and optimizing for purpose. Hold on. Was talking to a Microsoft principal engineer. He's a huge fan of AI, but only with web queries and only with super detailed prompts. Said it can write code, not systems. Even after generating 80% of the code, he spends 80% of code time tweaking and optimizing. Interesting. That's super interesting to hear. It's crazy the spectrum that exists out there for how people use AI. But I think the important thing is for people to find the way that it works or serves them best. You know, I think right now we're kind of in this age of like working with AI and using AI is fun and popular to talk about, and so everybody wants to talk about it. And not only that, everybody sort of wants to push their thoughts about how you should work with it onto everybody else. And I think right now the key is just more of finding the way that it can best serve you, and like fuck everybody else. uh, let's see. Continue without phone number. Capital One again. Continue to log in. Oh crap! Hold on. Before I do this, one sec. 1 second. I'm double checking to make sure I set the webhook URL properly. Yeah, I did. I set it properly. Okay. So we should be able to go back to the app. AI slop is the old TDD evangelist revisited in a way that doesn't in that way, isn't it? Oh, Dota, are you saying like finding a way to use TDD that works best for you? Is that what you mean? I don't know. I think I there's definitely AI slop, but there's also not AI slop, right? Nah, the AI people who are like, do it my way. Oh, for sure. Yes, that totally agree with you there. Um, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of the overly prescriptive people about AI. These people who are trying to position themselves as like the AI guy. I see this a lot with people who are kind of in the educational or consulting space right now. People who used to teach TypeScript are now teaching AI or agentic development. People who used to be React consultants are now AI consultants. People who used to, and they all have like these really strong opinions of like, well, this is how AI should be used, and this is the right system, and this is the right approach. And I just kind of roll my eyes because at the end of the day, y'all are just kind of trying to figure out the best way to put input tokens in to get the right output tokens out. And like, you're not doing it in a very rigorous or scientific manner, and you don't have much data to support the advice that you're trying to shove onto other people. Um, but that again is not their goal. Their goal is to make money, and their goal is to get a piece of all this AI money that's floating around. It has nothing to do with actual genuine desire to see other people succeed. They just have a fear of being left behind, and they have a fear of missing out. And it's very icky. It's the whole inflicting help despite it may not being helpful. Yeah, 100%. It's like golf. It's not about how your swing looks. It's about where your ball ends up. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. It really is. And with AI being so probabilistic, you can probably swing your club in a half a dozen different ways and sort of end up close to the same place. So it reminds me a lot of when I was in the missed the last few streams. This is looking nice. Oh, thanks very much, man. It's still pretty ugly on the user interface side of things, but we're slowly wiring the pieces together. What I was gonna say is, when I was in the fitness community, or when I was deep in kind of the fitness world, this happened with CrossFit. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of CrossFit, but there was a big swing in basically people's attitudes and opinions of CrossFit. So fitness professionals started kind of poo-pooing CrossFit. Then CrossFit gained a lot of momentum.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate that, AM or M creation. A lot of fitness professionals started off not liking CrossFit for a lot of reasons. CrossFit gained huge amounts of popularity. A bunch of fitness professionals got super freaked out and got really scared of being left behind. So they so then they decided, "Oh wait, no, I do like CrossFit." Then CrossFit fell out of popularity and a bunch of people walked away from it. And so I'm kind of seeing the same thing with AI play out, where engineers started out saying like AI, using AI to code was sort of like cheating or not doing the work. Then AI continued its momentum gain, and so engineers were like, "Oh wait, I better get on this bandwagon before it leaves me behind." And so we'll see how it plays out in the next 5 or 10 years. I think it's going to be kind of a similar story. Okay, we need to log in first and foremost. CrossFit pull-ups like this. Yeah, they do pull-ups in a weird way. They're called kipping pull-ups. AI has totally changed the game for me for side projects, though. I went from being able to make enough progress in short time intervals and getting frustrated to seeing progress and working on the same project longer. Well, that's wonderful. I would never want to say, that AI or give anybody the impression that I don't think AI is useful. Um, what I'm saying at the moment is just that I see a lot of people who are rushing, to try to position themselves as like the AI native person so that they can get a piece of the money. Yeah, heavily assisted AI coding. Yeah, that's probably a better term. Let's see, DB browser. And let's do let's see. Open data. No, we need to open a project. Oh, we have to add an account too. I forgot to do that. Add the account. So let's do plaid checking. Okay. And then we'll come over here to Postman. Okay. So that worked. Now let's see if I actually get a webhook. Somebody's out there trying to use my ngrok URL to be mischievous. I don't know how to avoid leaking that on stream. Okay, it doesn't look like it fired the webhook though. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I set up the webhook URL wrong again. Okay, we're gonna have to delete this item I just added. Kurt, it's protected, no? It in a way, but yeah, not really. If you leak the URL, it's kind of not really protected. I mean, anybody can make a request to it. Let's see. cd .net run copy. I added a command though for removing items. So, or I added a command to my admin CLI tool to remove commands. Good deal. So let's restart in Grok here real quick. And now I deleted all that, so we need to... What? Well, that's weird. Oh, that just removes the item. I still have to go into the database and remove. Delete record, write changes, refresh. Okay, there we go. So now we need to go through that flow again. Why have you opted for SQLite when you're making a localhost UI? Why wouldn't you use SQLite? I guess is the better question, David Bailey. Why do you think you need something other than SQLite? I feel like SQLite is a perfectly fine choice for this application. Okay. Now we add our account. All right. And then we got to get our account ID. Back to Postman. This is a very painful way to test this, I will say. Okay, we fired a webhook. In Grok's listening. Ah! I fucked it up again. I fucked it up again. That's so frustrating. Just wondered the reason for the decision. So SQLite seems more than capable because this application is only ever going to serve uh, me and my wife when deployed. And so there's no need to support a lot of concurrent writes, which is where SQLite often falls down in a lot of scenarios. But this is just going to be mostly a read-heavy database. And it's perfectly fine for that to just exist in a single SQLite file, which is just on a machine that's backed up. And if I ever want to migrate the thing to someplace else, I just have to move that file. And if I ever want to migrate to some sort of hosted distributed database like a Postgres instance or something like this, it's a pretty simple procedure to do that. But having a distributed database just adds complexity to the deployment that I don't need. Doesn't really add a lot of value. All right, we're gonna try this again. Let's see if I can get this right. .NET run. But I'm curious, I guess, David, I'm curious. My question, I'm curious of your answer. Why would you not use SQLite for something like this? Why would you use something else? Yeah, it makes perfect. Yeah, but I'm curious why you would want to use something else, or maybe you're just saying you wanted to know my reason. You're not saying you would have used something else. Drac, how are you? I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing well. How about you? How's life treating you? Institution. There we go. Let's run Aspire. Back to our dashboard. Delete that record, write the changes. Did Kadar code? Hello. I would use SQLite if disk footprint remained low. Yeah, it will. So, why can't you watch my streams anymore? Is it just the time of day that they come on is not great for you? Dude, light mode just completely fucking blinds me. Why are applications built in light mode? I'll never understand. I swear, I'm gonna get this right one time. Let's see, continue without phone, yes. Can someone explain what he's trying to build? Drac, I am trying to build a personal finance application. So think like mint.com, if you've ever heard of mint.com, do a quick Google search. But it's basically like kind of like a tool to help aggregate your financial data into one place. Yeah, it's almost 2:30 p.m. I took a nap to refresh my brain and get some rest. Ah, I see. Yeah, time zones are hard. Finding a good time to stream that works for everybody is difficult. YouTube didn't give me the notification. Is it just me, or has this app regressed majorly this week? Huh. I. Oh, you mean YouTube? Yeah, I don't know about that. We had all those issues with chat yesterday. Maybe they're working through something, you know? For a second there, I thought. For a second, I thought you were talking about my app, and I was like, well, I don't, was it ever not regressed? That's funny. I was like, wait a second. What? I didn't ever think the app was good to begin with. For okay, so we're getting good webhooks now. which is cool. So you can see the logs coming into the API. Let's see. Where are the logs at? View traces. Here we go. So you can see we got some webhook. The webhook point was hit twice, which is pretty cool. Oh, they're using Go because this came in from Plaid, so that's kind of interesting. Their backend must be built with Go, or part of it must be built with Go. Okay, now that we can get webhooks, the question becomes, what do we do with said webhook? See? What do we do with said webhook? I don't know. I think for now we should just try to log it. YouTube vibe coded too hard. Excuse me. Sorry. I went back to a stable version. Nice. It has. I've been getting triple ads. Interesting. Weird. Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry YouTube is not treating you all well. They don't listen to me. All right, let's do let's pull in a logger here. So from services, say I logger. Okay, we'll just do program. I actually don't know what that will end up being. Let's see, received webhook.
Have a coffee on me.
What? That's too nice, Minister of Defense. That first off, thank you very much. It's super generous, but it's more generous than what I deserve. So you definitely don't you definitely don't need to do that. But thank you very much. That is very kind of you. Didn't we just get that notification? Aspire. Didn't I already do the update? I feel like I already did the update. Huh. Okay, give me the account ID. Copy. Copy. Put that here. I feel these tools need to be updated every 30 minutes. I know. Yeah, I know. It's all every time you run something, there's always an update these days. So we got to refresh our token. Then we got to go back to our webhook. Let's go ahead and send that. Let's make sure that comes through on Grok. So that webhook came through, but it says 500 internal server error. And this is where Aspire comes in handy, because now we can go to Aspire and see what that error was. An unhandled exception occurred. Deserialization of interface or abstract type is not supported. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I think that's like at the entry point of my endpoint. So if that's the case, though, how do we get the webhook data from the request? So if that's the webhook base, how do we do webhook? I mean, I see the different types of webhooks, but the thing is, do they have like a transaction webhook? Okay, I need some way. We're gonna have to do a little bit of research because I don't know what the right way to do this is. Good morning, Ryan. Working on something different today? No, we were working on, well, I changed the title to side projects because we started the day by working on that Rust notepad application, but now we're looking at the physical OS project. Abu, stop it. AI will replace you. One of my friends says that. Lame. I say that's lame, Abu. And at the same time, I honestly just don't care. Let's see. Let me update my code real quick so that this will stop failing. Set this back to requests. Write that out. Let's restart the Aspire. This is a bug. This must be a bug because we've updated Aspire twice now and it keeps telling me that Aspire is outdated and it's not. I'm using this library, going.plaid, within a minimal API. I've set up an endpoint to receive webhooks from the Plaid service. I want to use the types defined in this library so that I can catch the incoming webhook data and deserialize it from the body into the strong types that this library provides. I've tried using the webhook base class, but it is abstract, so it isn't supported. Can you advise me on how the library recommends using its types in this scenario? Do not. I repeat, do not lie to me. I always find a stern threat really motivates the LLM. Did you ever hear about Meta's director of AI alignment's lost fight with AI over her? Oh, I did, Ryan. Yeah, I heard about it yesterday because I was watching the stand-up. She accidentally deleted her whole inbox, and she posted some messages, and one of the messages was like, "Stop, OpenClaw." Let me see if I can find it so that if any of you don't know about it, because the messages are really funny. uh, was it Meta inbox deletion? It was really funny. Let's see if the messages are in here. This tweet is currently unavailable. I'm surprised Meta let her post this. Honestly. It says, "What's going on? Can you describe what you're doing?" EXE GOG Gmail search. I guess GOG is like a command line tool or something. GOG CLI. I don't know what that is. GOG Gmail. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know this existed. I would actually probably use this. What's it built in? Go? Yeah, I would actually probably use that. It says GOG Gmail search inbox dash dash max 20. I don't know what all those commands. Nuclear option. Trash everything in inbox older than Feb 15th that isn't already in my keep list. Okay. She said, "Do not do that." Check how many left. More old stuff. Get the remaining. Stop. Don't do anything. It's not responding. That is just too fucking funny. Oh, there she goes. Maybe those capital letters, those capital letter tokens will get its attention. Yeah, so I heard about this on the stand up. I honestly can't believe she posted this. "I asked you to not action on anything until I approve. Do you remember that? It seems that you were deleting my emails without my approval, and I couldn't get you to stop until I killed all the processes." Yes, I remember, and I violated it. You're right to be. This is such a weird world. Uh, that's pretty fucking funny. I just can't believe that Meta would allow her to post it openly. Um, Sorry, I missed a couple messages here. I think guys who only use AI will be replaced. They think they're the ones that are going to survive. Ironically, yeah, because I think there's a real. I think there's a lot. I think there's probably a lot of people out there who are misrepresenting themselves and their abilities by relying a lot on AI. A recruiter came to me about a job yesterday that specifically said understand how to use Claude code. Such a weird requirement for a job. It's a very weird requirement for a job. Definitely a job requirement written by a CTO, yeah. Or somebody who has a Claude Pro Max plan and needs to figure out a way to leverage it. Whenever I hear AI will replace me now, I laugh because I am an AI engineer and my boss wants me to also learn back-end engineering instead of vibe coding it. As long as AI can't be held accountable, we are fine, especially for places where a single mistake could be disaster, e.g., banks, NASA, etc. Yeah, for sure. High stakes environments are always going to be a different place. Sonnet 4.5 is so last week, man. You're getting left behind. Oh, goodness. Oh no. Oh no. Abu. Sometimes you have to be strict to LLMs to get the job done. Yeah, so you just got to yell at them. Santino. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. It broke apart into 9 independent countries. Well, Santino, thank you for that history lesson. Really appreciate you. Like our parents did to us, yeah. David Bailey. Speaking of LLMs, yeah. Speaking of LLMs, let's see what Copilot has to say. Let's say you're correct that the webhook base is abstract. The library provides a custom JSON serialized JSON converter called Webhook base converter that handles deserialization of webhook data into the appropriate concrete types. Okay. So I'll set that up. Oops. That seems plausible. Obviously, I don't know if it's true. Let's see, webhook. JSON deserialized webhook base JSON. Okay. The webhook will be deserialized to the correct concrete type based on the webhook type and webhook code. Alrighty. So let's do it. Although this doesn't seem correct. Yeah, this doesn't seem right. Process webhook base. So what's the difference between webhook base converter and webhook processor webhook base? I don't know what the difference is there. Can you tell me what the diff is between webhook base converter and processor webhook converter? What's up, Tano? Good to see you. Technically, Jacob. What's up? This guy squints a lot. I'm sorry, does it offend you, technically, Jacob, that I like to squint? Excuse me. For regular Plaid API users, only for Plaid processor partners. Okay, so I want this one. I think the way you advised me to use the webhook converter is not correct. Can't I register the converter in the app host so that the type can be deserialized as a parameter in an endpoint handler? If you're not squinting, you're not coding hard enough. F sharp is like C sharp for microchips and processors, isn't it? No, I think F sharp is just kind of the functional alternative to C sharp. It's a .NET language, um, but it has more of a functional, I think, approach. I've never written any of it myself. I've read a little bit of it, but I've never written any of it myself. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so let's put this back. Um, we'll do, what was that code? Let's see if it hallucinated any of this. Nope, that's good. All right, and then let's try to restart the application and see if this works. Fair play. I've only read it a few times. I'm curious. Yeah. Do you have any public projects we can contribute to? So my GitHub has a ton of public stuff on there. So you're welcome to look at any of it, but there isn't anything like that comes to the top of mind that I think like, hey, I want someone to work on something. I think it would be fun to have a community project like that we could all kind of contribute to and work on together. I just haven't been able to come up with a good idea for one, or one that I want to allocate time to outside of the stuff I'm already trying to do. Okay. Let's look at the traces here. That's structured logs. I want traces. There we go. And then let's go ahead and fire the webhook. Oh, we got to refresh our token. All right. I think that worked. Now let's look at logs. There we go. Raw JSON, environment sandbox, historical update complete true, initial update complete true, item ID, sync updates available, transactions. Cool. Wonderful. Now, what to do from here? So, I think whenever we receive one of these sync updates available, we're supposed to make a request to the Plaid API to retrieve the transaction data, I believe. So let's go to the Plaid documentation. Actually, hold on. Before we do that, let's get more coffee because I've only had a single cup of coffee today and we need coffee. Coffee makes the stream go brrr. Makes sense. Thanks. I'll take a look. Yeah, I wish I had better. I wish I had something to point you at to be like, hey, you can go work on this, but I just don't. All right, I'm gonna get coffee. Duckboy, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're lurking. No problem would be a cool thing to do / stream in the future. Yeah, I've always liked. I'm a big fan of the Primogen, And I've always liked some of the projects that he's working on stream because I think it's been kind of cool because he's worked on some projects where there's a way for the chat to be interactive with the project. Like he did the game where like you chat played, I think it was like a tower defense game, and then chat like steered or prompted Copilot or one of the LLMs. Um, so maybe I can come up with a project like that.
I'd like to say something.
RTFM time? LOL.
Yeah. What's RTFM? Claude Code Wiz. What does that mean? DigiArt. I'm not sure what Claude Code WIS means. Claude Code wins. Oh, wins what? Blackfire read the flipping manual, but with a more vulgar word than flipping. Read. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it now. Yeah, we need to figure out how to do we need to figure out how it works on the Plaid API, but first I'm gonna get coffee before we sit down to read the fucking manual. So I'll be right back. Teo, Claude's my favorite agent, but since I've been less experimental with others since using it. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you have a favorite agent. You guys will not get any pushback from me. Y'all have, it's your life. You guys, if you guys like coding agents, I wish you all the best in your journey with the coding agents. I will use agents to code more whenever my boss comes to me and says, "Steven, you must increase your productivity." or it becomes like an organizational mandate that you must code with AI. If that happens, then I'll happily do it. And I know how to do it. I can do it very effectively. But it's just like for right now, I don't, especially in my free time. I'm not having a ton of fun with it. Which I think is fine. The problem is a lot of people are trying to make others feel like that's not okay. And those guys can go fuck themselves. You know? I'm not gonna let some dumbass tech bros tell me how to live my life. When I'm 80, none of this is gonna matter anyways. DigiArt. I bet you will forget coding, will be addicted to it. Just try once. Oh, I've tried a lot. I've tried a lot. I've tried the Copilot CLI. I've tried Gemini CLI. I've tried Copilot in the IDEs. I've tried 100% prompting my way to a solution. I've tried doing the sophisticated steering approach. I have coded a ton with tab completion and have had a lot of success with that. But it's just not fun. It's just not fun. And I'm happy to do it if it means that that's how I keep earning money for my family. But if that did actually happen, you'd probably see me end up becoming an accountant or something. Because I get bored by it. I think there's nothing engaging about it to me. I feel so disconnected from the process and what we're building, and I feel very little ownership of it. And that's okay. We can all live our lives different. Yo, that BRB screen, did you make it? It's fire as fuck. I did make it, Maddox. Yes, I made this. The thing that was the hardest to make was the Steam. Trying to figure out the right way to update the Steam in the picture was the hardest part. I probably spent 20 minutes longer than I needed to, and I probably could have vibed this and it would have gone faster, but it was fun to make. Let's see. Using AI is not okay. I love your strong opinions, Ryan. Curious to hear your thoughts on how you set up your LLM guardrails. What do you mean LLM guardrails? Zakulwin. What do you mean by that? Yeah, it's productive, but not as fun. Can be fun when you transfer to system levels thinking, which you still control the architectural direction. Yeah, I guess. But the problem is that I want to be a better systems level thinker, and I don't think you become a great systems level thinker by talking to an LLM. I think you become a great systems level thinker by building systems. And yeah, I just don't. I'm not 100% convinced that you can achieve the same level of mastery or experience or intuition or skill by coding through an AI agent versus actually coding yourself. I think I my hypothesis is that AI agents give you a fake sense of your own abilities. I think AI agents make a lot of people feel like they are very competent and capable in a particular thing, but if I was to take the AI away from you, you would not be able to stand on your own 2 feet. That's my hypothesis. AI is just a crutch for people with skill issues who have no desire to get more skills. So that that's kind yeah, the Ryan basically just said what I said. Kurt's 20 whole minutes. 20 whole minutes what? 20 whole minutes what? Teo, I'd agree with that. Yeah. As long as you use AI as a tool and not the solution, then I think it's okay. Too many companies think they're being smart, saving money by making AI their savior. Well, don't you know AI is gonna? We're already dead. Software engineering's dead. Our jobs are already gone. You know. See Xavier. Hey boss, good morning. I always watch your shorts on YouTube, so please keep clipping these lives because I can't always make it. Oh, sweet. Well, that's very kind of you, man. Appreciate you watching my stuff, and I appreciate you stopping by to say good things. I'm gonna run upstairs and get some coffee real quick, but if you're gonna hang out, I'll be right back. If you're leaving because I'm leaving, that's totally fine. I hope you have a wonderful, what is it, Thursday? I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Otherwise, I'll be right back.
Did we just become best friends?
ResTooth, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. It's very kind of you. AI can't replace people or knowledge, but people using knowledge, but people using knowledgeable people using AI will eventually edge out most of the resistors, in my opinion. I think that's a valid hypothesis. The problem with that hypothesis, though, is that turns AI into a weapon of great inequality. And why is that? Because in order to become somebody who is a knowledgeable person who can leverage AI, you have to do what first? Become knowledgeable. Well, if you're spending your time becoming knowledgeable while the already knowledgeable people are using AI to get more done and be more productive, you have this huge widening of the knowledge and skill gap between people who are 20 years ahead and people who are just getting started. So there's this it becomes this force for, it doesn't become a force for good, it becomes a force for bad, because you basically are stealing the opportunity for you're basically pulling up the ladder behind you. You're basically saying, okay, I've been in this field for 20 years, I've achieved mastery, we should all be embracing AI agents, everyone should be using AI to do their job. I'm using AI to do my job, but it works very effectively because I know what the fuck I'm doing. And then the person that's 20 years behind me, if I tell them to use AI, that's just going to become a hindrance or a crutch to them, right? So it's this very weird effect where AI is really a negative thing for someone who's early on in their particular profession, and it becomes a force multiplier for the other person. So it's got like opposite effects. On one end of the spectrum, AI drags. On the other end of the spectrum, AI accelerates, which then leads to massive inequality, which is not a good thing in my opinion. Kurt, you need to buy a coffee machine and put it behind you. That would be a great idea. That would be a great idea, Kurt. If you're Linus Torvalds, then you can use AI. Linus, I saw that Linus does do some vibe coding. Nothing wrong with that. As he's Xavier. My question to you, Stephen. I'm aware you enjoy coding, even if AI does kill the field. I have respect for that, as I feel the same. However, have you played with Hugging Face's free pipeline API? I have not. I have not. Is it pretty cool? Estefanos. Hey, Steven. Well, hey, Estefanos. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sir. Sabu. Hi, bro. I'm in cybersecurity in Android Red Teamer. Very cool. That sounds like an awesome job. I used to develop malware and reverse engineering like a real world. So, like, what you think about Android security engineer opportunity? I honestly know nothing about that space. Like, I know I know nothing about that type of engineering. I would guess it's in demand. I would think that that's a knowledge or skill set would be really in demand because it seems like it's in scarce supply. But I honestly know nothing about that field, so I hate to speak about like what the actual opportunities are. I would just think, as kind of a layperson from looking from the outside in, that it seems like a scarce skill set, so I would think there'd be opportunity there. Estefanos, can you briefly go through how your NeoVim is set up? Yeah, I can do that. Let's see, don't you need to jailbreak the models to get AI to help you build malware? You still need to know how to code malware. I don't know anything about that world. I don't know anything about the malware world. Estefanos, so my NeoVim configuration is pretty basic. There's nothing fancy to it, really. I used Lazy as my package manager. If this will load ever. I use Lazy as my package manager. You can see all this on the GitHub repo too. If you type !invim, this is all on my GitHub repo too. So I have an init, obviously an init.lua file that kind of bootstraps everything. Let's see. I use a few different plugins, right? So all my plugins reside in these files. This is just kind of the convention. So each one of these files will be automatically loaded and executed. So whatever's in here will be brought in and configured. Let's see. This is how I get my dashboard set up. I don't know if there's anything in particular you want to look at. My LSP configurations are all in the LSP file. Got a few different LSPs that are on. JavaScript, ESLint, TypeScript, Lua, OmniSharp. Let's see, NeoTree. I use NeoTree a lot. Let's see, we've got Telescope. Obviously, I think everybody uses Telescope, right? I mean, I have yet to see somebody's NeoVim config that doesn't include Telescope. Oh, I forgot about this one. This is an interesting one I added for typing. Typer. So it lets you have kind of like a typing test in NeoVim, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't work great in a small window like this, but if you ever want to test your typing speed or get warmed up for the day, it's kind of a cool little plugin. Yeah, I'm happy to look at any of it. I'm just not sure what's kind of interesting to you guys or what you'd like me to go over. But yeah, it's basically just a grab bag of plugins, right? That facilitate most of the configuration. Stefanos, did you just download it from the site? No. Yeah, it's something I built, kind of hand rolled over time. I followed a course called NeoVim for Noobs by what's his name? Typecraft. He's a YouTuber. I followed his NeoVim for Noobs course, and then I've slowly just built onto it over time whenever I've needed to add functionality. Erel, what is your top 3 used key mappings? I always like seeing other people's key maps. Let's see. Probably my top 3 key maps are format, which is leader GF, yank or copy to my system clipboard, which is leader Y, and then maybe what would be the third? Search by grep, which is leader FG, I think, in my keybinds. If you're using LSP files, you're already halfway to writing Lisp. I don't know what that means because Lua doesn't look anything like Lisp to me. What are you, man? Are you programming something? What kind of question is this? Is that what are you, man? I'm a human being. I'm a human being. Let's see. If you're using, are you programming something? Yes, we are programming something. We're trying to build a personal finance app at the moment. Let's see. So let's switch on. We don't want to do that. Copilot. Let's switch on. Request. And let's say case is sync updates available webhook. All right. So let's do. I think what we have to do here is we need to request the updates. We need to request the transactions from the Plaid API. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is we need to store the cursor to use in the next request. Right? So let's look at the Plaid docs and see what that looks like. Plaid API sync. Shurat, hello Steven. Not able to follow you these days. A lot of work. Well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you have a lot of work, man. I mean, I would hate it to be the opposite way. So if you can't watch my stuff because you got a lot of work, I'm totally okay with that. Ryan, it's the same file extension. All LSP files are .lsp. Oh, well, LSP file. The LSP file that I was talking about is lsp.lua, and it's only named LSP because it has all of my language server configurations in it. In your opinion, how do you feel about AI and the way it will take over front-end roles? Opus just got way too good at doing UI. I don't think AI will take over front-end roles. I'm not bullish on AI in that way. I mean, I do think AI is a powerful, useful, productivity enhancing tool, but I don't think it's going to take over AI or take over UI. I think what it's going to do is it's going to turn human. I believe, and I know a lot of people don't believe this, but I believe that humans tend to want to engage and use things that are made by other humans. And I think that AI will end up generating a lot of designs and UI that all go to a common denominator. And I think it will take human beings in order to have a point of differentiation and a point of view and an aesthetic choice. Whether or not that's expressed through an AI, like by directing an agent or not, I don't know. But like there still needs to be a human that's involved in like having an opinion about the way something works and functions and feels. Whether or not they hand code that or code that through an agent, I don't think agents are gonna be the only ones building UI though, right? Or like making all the choices about UI. I think a lot of people just I think a lot of people struggle to build good UIs, and so when they see that cursor or Claude code can just dump out something that's better than what they could have done, I think they assume that that means that agents are somehow going to take everyone's jobs in that field, but I don't believe that. I think way too many people are AI pilled at the moment. And that's okay. I mean, I understand. It's a very impressive piece of technology. But I think in 5 years we'll all be talking about something else. Nice perspective. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'm just in my head. I'm just so worried. Like giving a prompt, build me a dashboard with XYZ functionality, and it did it. And that's cool. I mean, that is very cool. I'm not gonna say that that's not cool. But I don't think you should feel threatened by that. I don't think you should feel threatened by that, in my opinion. See, note that when updating or when using transaction sync, the older webhooks, which are intended for use, will also continue to be sent in order to maintain backwards compatibility. It is not necessary to listen for and respond to those webhooks when using transaction sync. Okay. So what information do I need to send here? Client ID, access token, secret, and the cursor. Okay. So let's try to make a request here. Client ID, access tokens, the access token we need to get out of the database. The cursor, we don't have, so we'll leave it null. Okay. So does this webhook have something on it that would allow us to identify the ID or the account? So if we do webhook dot what? Initial update complete, historical, item ID. The item ID of the item associated, okay? Oh shit. So how do I get... I feel like there's information missing from this. Sync updates available webhook. I feel like there's information that's missing. Sync update. Back to the top. Huh, I guess not. I thought they give like account information or something, but they don't. So they only give us the item ID, which means that we have to resolve also this doesn't have a user ID, does it? Huh. This is typed correctly, right? Yeah. I'm surprised. Okay, so I guess we'll do plaid item equals plaid service. So from services, just get the plaid client directly. And we'll say plaid await plaid client dot get item. New. The reason why we have to get the item separate is because I didn't store the item ID. So we have to say item, right? Client ID. How do I plaid get item? Crap, man. I've completely foobarred this. Well, actually, probably not that bad. But the problem is that I don't have the item ID. I'm not storing that anywhere. But that's the only piece of data that hangs off this webhook that actually identifies the thing that it's associated with. So I think what I have to do is I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to get back up a couple steps to make this work. So when we connect the institution, we're going to have to persist the item ID onto the institution. Because we're already getting the item right here. We're not doing anything with it. That's frustrating to me. So let's go into our plaid metadata. Let's see, where are we? Institutions, maybe? No, accounts. And let's change this to be plaid ID, plaid name, encrypted access token. And I guess let's also add item ID. That. And then we'll extend this model to have a public string item ID. Getter, knitter, just default it to empty. That. And then we'll just set it here. So we'll say item ID equals item ID. We also don't need to explicitly name this. Then we'll go into our appdb context, and let's find the plaid metadata. We'll just say eb.property static in.item ID. This is unfortunate. So unfortunate. Plaid server not give me the damn item ID. So go. I've been learning ethical hacking. Can I send you an executable to click on? Fuck no. No, you cannot try to hack me. That's funny. No, you can't try to hack me. Okay, and then we have to go back up to this endpoint. And we just need to say, I think we can either do item ID or we can do dot item ID. I think I'll do this. Possible null reference argument. Oh. Why are you null? We'll pass it in like this. And then we need to add a migration. So let's go back to here. We'll say .NET EF database, or no, migration add. Add item ID to plaid metadata. I've been learning viral biochemistry. Can I send you a sample to eat? Exactly. That's basically the equivalent of what you just asked. No, you cannot try to poison me. I'm worried that it's taking so long for the build to start. Oh, it's probably taking a long time because I probably have a lock on the file. Let's try again. Okay, and then do .NET EF database update. Okay. So now we have a way to stick the item into the database. Which means now, whenever we are in our webhook, we should be able to say, we should be able now to use that. So what we have to do is we have to say, what do we have to say? Yeah, so now...
Did we just become best friends?
Oh, sorry, I can't see your name because of the average. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. It's very nice. Okay, basically the reason I need to do that is because now what I can do is I can make a query against my database using the item ID to get the access token. So I'm trying to think of what that query will look like, because we'll need the user too, because the user has the encryption key. So we have to do something like this. We have to say var user, and we'll have to do from services dot app db context. I'm not terribly happy with all the data access patterns I have right now in my application. They're not, I don't think, terribly well thought through. But we can always go back and revisit those. So we'll say users, and we'll say dot include u dot institutions dot first or default async. And we'll just say if user is null. We'll just break for now. That can't be. Where? So what we'll do is we'll query the users table, and we'll include the institutions, but we'll limit the institutions to just those that have an item ID that's equal to the item ID for the webhook. Then we will use the user object to decrypt the access token that's on the institution, and then we'll make a request to get the transactions, is what we'll do. So let's jump over to one of our other queries really quick. So we need to do something like this. I hear my kids awake upstairs. I will miss that when I'm an old man and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm writing code still, hopefully. And I'll miss hearing them in the mornings for sure. It's kind of a weird thing as a parent. Like some days some days the chaos just drives you nuts, but other days you realize what a blessing it is for your house to be full of all that chaos and life. Because it eventually goes away one day. Huh. I'm actually thinking maybe I don't query against the users table. I think I need to query against the institutions, don't I? So I actually need to do this. Which I don't have exposed, but I actually need to do something like this where we say
I like to say something.
Sad Van Freeborn.
not sad, but you know what I mean. I mean, you just miss it. You know, you take it for. I trying to do better, not taking things for granted. You know, because right now I kind of take it for granted every morning when I'm sitting at my desk. I hear them get up and run around and be all crazy, and I kind of take that for granted. You know. You should listen to heavy metal while coding. I don't think that would be good for anybody. I'm already kind of a very naturally like intense, serious person, and I don't need stimulus that amplifies that part of my personality. Most people do not like that part of my personality. It's a little bit too abrasive for most people. Seriously, issues. I have insomnia. So do you? Oh, I don't have insomnia. No, I sleep good. Yeah, I actually sleep better than I have in a long time since we moved to the to this new house. I think my wife, I give credit to my wife for this, but I think the big key for me getting a really good night's sleep is staying cool. Like if I get hot, like if I, like my temperature, body temperature raises, I have a hard time sleeping well. What am I doing? I'm trying to figure out how to query the database, is what I'm trying to do. So that's include metadata, but what I want is I want something that queries against the metadata. Oh, that's not it. Get. I know I've done this before. Where is it? There we go. I think this is it. I need a query like this. But it's not going to be against the users table. Yep, this is what we need. So we need metadata. We don't need accounts. We don't need that. We don't need this lambda because we want to hang the institutions off the context. But this is correct. So we want to say when I metadata is plaid metadata and plaid metadata dot item ID equals webhook dot item ID. Now I'm kind of interested in the fact that dot include I dot user. This guy. Let's see, d public db set. Hold on. Before I do all this, I need to ask the question. I need to ask this question. Start up the Aspire tool. Where's my terminal at? There we go. Crap, man. I just closed the thing. Hey, Rookley, good morning. Yeah, lower core temp makes you sleep faster. Yeah, that makes sense. That's been my experience. I feel like I feel like I fall asleep faster. I also feel like I sleep deeper. Um, if that makes sense. Why are you complaining? Oh, gosh dang it. Now you need a weighted blanket and you'll get good sleep every day. I've never had a weighted blanket before. We've talked about that. My wife and I have talked about buying one of those, but we've never actually gotten one. I don't know if I'm going to figure this out today, but we're going to try to do our best to see if we can't come to some clearer understanding. So basically, based on what the plaid documentations say, there should be terminal neovim. Let's go ahead and fire a webhook real quick. Oh, we have to refresh. I need to automate that refresh in Postman so it just happens. Okay, now let's go to Aspire. So the plaid documentation say that there should be a user ID in the webhook, but I did not see one in the, let's see, structured logs. See, I don't see a user ID on here. But if you look at their documentation, it says there should be a user ID. The plaid user ID of the user associated with this webhook, warning or error. I wonder if that means an actual plaid user. Because I think they have an API for users. Plaid users. Yeah, see, they have a users API. This page covers API endpoints related to user IDs and user tokens, which are used by Plaid Check, Plaid Protect, and Income. Plaid has switched from using the user token to user ID. Plaid generated identifier prefixed by user and returned in responses from the user's API and linked token create. Each user ID connects to a single client user ID. Calling user create repeatedly with the same client user ID returns the same user ID. The plaid generated token for accessing the user only applicable for customers prior. Note that user tokens can also have corresponding IDs. Huh. So I'm just gonna state the problem. I'm gonna state the problem less for you guys and more for myself. So this endpoint comes in, or this data comes in from Plaid, and the only identifier that I have to figure out what thing is this webhook referring to is the item ID currently, which means whenever I query into the database, right now I can connect the item ID to the institution associated with that item ID that the user has connected. Then I will have to just assume that I'll just have to assume it belongs to a particular user at this point. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I honestly don't know. It doesn't seem okay. It seems like I should also verify it's for the correct user, but there's not a way to figure out who the user is. I mean, the item ID should be unique to the user, though. That's the thing. So I guess it's really half dozen or the other. The thing I'm fussing about, it doesn't really matter because the item ID is a unique thing that you only get when a user uses their credentials to connect an institution. So the item ID is as unique to the user as it is the ID of the user itself. Yeah, so it's half dozen or the other. Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel better about my decision. Talking through something out loud oftentimes makes me understand my own thinking better. My wife sometimes will be like, "Are you talking to yourself?" Yes, I am talking to myself. All right, so we got to go to the institution. Wait, hold on. We have to add a public data set here. So public EB set institution. This way we can directly query against it. And we'll say institution like this. And then we'll go to the institution and we are going to add a little navigation property for ourselves here. So we're going to say public user. It's a getter and an emitter. And this can be null. Then we'll come back to the DB context. Hey, what's up, Artwork Studios?
We all talk to ourselves.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you very much for the super chat, D. Appreciate you. Okay, do you have any experience with Coolify for self-hosting without cloud? I have not used Coolify. I do self-host quite a bit. I don't really have anything right now, anything that I'm serious about right now running in a well, I guess I do have a VPS in a cloud, but I'm not using any cloud-based services or serverless services. But I don't have experience with Coolify. I've heard good things about Coolify. There's actually a really great video on YouTube by the Syntax podcast. Let's see if I can find it. Syntax Coolify. This is a really good video because it walks through. It's a long video, but it's very thorough. It walks through all the nitty-gritty details of getting started and set up. So you might go watch this video. Also, CJ is a really great teacher. So where'd you go, Cape? I guess I need to go to YouTube, the YouTube chat here. Good morning, Artwork Studios. Good to see you. I think I said that. I can't remember if I said that, but good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. There you go. Give that a try. Yeah, that will probably be more information than I could ever give you. But if you want that sort of GitOps experience, like if you want kind of that same type of experience that like Vercel gives you or Netlify gives you, Coolify's I think the best option. Assuming like you want a self-hosted experience, of course. Okay, now we got to go down here to institution. And there's somewhere in here where I'm defining the relationship. Yeah, here we go. So we'll say with one static I dot user, like that. And I don't think I need to generate another migration. I think this will just work. I think I think it'll just work. Yeah, I don't think I need to generate another migration. And then we'll go back to our endpoint. Where are we? Endpoint. Copy this. Paste that in there. My dog just gave birth like yesterday, I think. Oh, very cool. Well, congratulations, man. Got some puppies. Puppies are a lot of work, dude. Yeah, a lot of work. I can't imagine having more than one either to take care of. Let's see where. This needs to be item ID. Webhook.item ID, like
Did
that.
we just become best friends?
Michael, thank you very much for the sub. That's super kind of you to do that.
Did we just become best friends?
Grinch Gamer. I like that username. Good username. Thank you very much for the sub, both of you. 3 male, 2 female. Wow, yeah, you guys have a full load, man. You're in it. Okay. So basically, the query that we're doing right now is we're saying, give me the institution who is connected, who has metadata connected to it, whose item ID equals what the webhook's item ID is. So this is now an institution object. And then we're going to say if institution is null, or institution user is null. If either of those things are true, because we need both of those pieces of information to perform this operation, we will just break. And I guess we'll say logger.log. Whoops, say logger. Log information received webhook for let's say item ID. But unable to find corresponding institution. Actually, let's separate these because I think I want to log different information. Let's do this. Paste that. We'll say, okay, if institution.user is null, received webhook for item ID, but unable to find corresponding user. Which shouldn't really ever happen. This really should never happen, but if it does happen, I'd like to know about it.
Did we just become best friends?
Jimmy, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate you. For institution. Actually, I'm going to do this for item. For item. And then we'll say received webhook. Institution ID like this. Unable to find corresponding user. Yeah, that looks good. Then what we'll do is we'll say, if we do make it all the way down here, finally, now we can get the sync transactions response. So we can say var sync transaction transaction? Is that how you spell that? I don't know why I've had so much issue spelling this whole project. Transaction. Yeah, transaction. Sync transaction response equals await plaid client dot sync. Yep. Just cool. And then I think this needs an access token, which we'll just do an empty string for now. And then I think this is also going to need a cursor at some point. The thing is, I don't have a cursor right now, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say string cursor equals null, but it shouldn't, hopefully in the future, always be null. We should be able to get that as a property on, I guess, the institution. I guess we'll store that on the plaid metadata. And we'll do access token cursor, and then we'll say if sync transaction response dot is false. Then we want to break, and we want to log dot warning unable to sync transactions for institution. Give it institution ID. And then we'll do sync dot. I think there's an error in here, isn't there? Yeah, error dot. But this can possibly be null. Otherwise, now we need to do stuff with it. And I think for now we'll just say log information. And we'll say sync response. I guess we'll just log the accounts for now. There's a lot of information on that response, actually. Okay, the access token. How do we get the access token? So we get the access token like this. We have to say from services I encryptor that. And then this is why we need the user. See, this is the important part for having the user, because the user, each access token is encrypted with a particular user's key. So we have to say something like this: var access token, or I guess we should call this decrypted, equals await encryptor dot decrypt async 4, and we have to pass in the user. So this will be institution dot user, and then the institution dot this will be var plaid metadata equals institution Now this is going to complain because it's going to say this could be null, but the thing is that we already checked up here, really. So we probably should just handle it, though. So I guess we could do this, and then we could say if plaid metadata is null, I don't know. This is actually exceptional. This is kind of an exceptional case, but we're in a webhook, so I don't really want to return a bad response. So I'm just going to say log warning, metadata associated with institution is not for plaid. Whoops, ID. Yeah, let's do, and then we can put the metadata ID here, metadata ID. Oh, well, it could be null, so I guess we can't do that. The whole point of that was so that I could get access to the encryption token. And then we'll pass along the cancellation token. That was the whole reason for that. Now we can use the decrypted access token to say, okay, like that. Now we should be able to try this now, I think. So let's go ahead and restart. Let's do a couple things. Let's restart the Aspire host. I am trapped. How do you make coding seem so satisfying, man? Whenever I code, half my time goes into banging my head against the wall. I'm the same way, dude. Some days I feel like I have it more figured out than others. Like right now, I kind of have a good. I spent a lot of time earlier reading docs and thinking about things, so now I feel like I have a better handle on what I'm trying to accomplish. But some days some days it's not so great, you know. And if you come back and visit the stream often enough, you'll be here for some of those days. Don't worry about spelling, Steven. I'd forget my own name if it wasn't on my lodge shirts. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny whenever you look at a word or you say a word or try to spell a word too many times, you start to almost like the word starts to sound wrong or look wrong in the spelling. It's a really weird phenomenon. I'm sure there's a term for it. Good morning, Learn with Abdubari. Good to see you. Also, Steven, you doing good lately? Haven't came in a bit? Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing good, man. No complaints. You're really good at code organizing. I don't know. If you go look at some of my code on my GitHub, I think you might you might come back with a different opinion. Mode 1 is I can get everything up and running in 4 hours. Mode 2 is how to center a div again. Yep, and you just oscillate back and forth. Yeah, totally. You just oscillate back and forth. Okay, so the other thing I need to do is I'm going to remove the existing item. So let's delete the institution here. Delete you. Oh, never mind. Don't do that. Don't delete you. We need to first remove this listener from the. So we'll do. Oh, I guess I do need to add a migration. I just tried to build the project and I got an error. So we do have to add one. So we have to do migration add navigation property to institution for user. Okay. And then .NET database update. Gunheist, hello, you're still here. Perfect. I am still here. Good morning, Melty. Good to see you. The term is called semantic satiation. Okay, so there is a term for it. Nice. I love it. That's hilarious. I'll have to Google that for sure. Let's see. Do you guys calculate a complex algo on a piece of paper with pen, or is it only me? No, I think that makes sense. I mean, sometimes I don't use a pen and paper much, but sometimes I'll write pseudocode. Yeah, for sure. If there's like a tricky piece of logic, I'll just kind of write in the comments the logic I'm thinking about in my head before I go to writing code. So that makes sense. I could see a paper. Some people using a pen and paper might be a more concrete way to do it. But yeah, I totally do that. I think that's a common thing. And I can see C#. I upvote. Well, thank you. If you would like the stream to see more C#, please like the stream. Hold on, I didn't say that right. If you want to see more C#, like the stream. That's what I meant to say. See, I know what I'm doing. I know how to be a YouTuber. I love to do pseudocode and scheme diagrams before I start developing anything. Yeah, I like that too. I don't spend a ton of time on it though, because I just think a lot of times some of the best way to like figure things out is to write code. But I definitely, when I get to sticky bits that I don't understand or am having a hard time thinking clearly about, often writing it down is very helpful, or drawing it out. That. Okay. Now let's delete this. Delete record. Write changes. Webhook's still up. Alright, let's rerun Aspire. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. It's free and helps out a ton. 100%. Yeah, I'm not very good at self-promo. I've never been good at it. Even when I had my own personal training business, I just was terrible at self-promotional stuff. I need to find like a business partner who's good at that kind of thing. Now let's add an institution. Hopefully this doesn't blow up on me. So continue with phone number, capital 1. Continue to log in. Everyone, do not steal my login credentials. Do mobile, get code, 1234, submit. Continue. Whoops. I need to write some automated tests for all this stuff, because having to test this manually is getting quite old. Alright, so if we look in our database, watch out, I'm going to flashbang you guys. So if we look at the database, we have our institution now, right? And then our institution should have a metadata entry that has our encrypted access token, but more importantly, it has this item ID, which now we can use to resolve the webhook, hopefully, to some transactions. So let's go and trigger a webhook. We're going to need the account ID, copy this. We'll save that. Let's go ahead and refresh our access token. Now let's fire off the webhook. Okay, the webhook fired. And I almost like immediately received the webhook. Now let's go to our structured logs. Oops. Is there a way to get to the logs from here? I don't think there is there? Back references. Yeah, I don't see a way to get back to the logs. It's console logs. Structured. Let's see. This says, so it's a good thing we put those logs in there, because this says metadata associated with institution is not for Plaid. Okay, that seems weird. Oh, actually, that's not weird. I forgot a piece of on my query. So see how right here I'm saying include user? I also need to say include .metadata, otherwise that property is not going to get populated by EF. So let's restart the application. I stole your logins and am now withdrawing everything from your first platypus account. Damn those dad jokes. Yeah, dad jokes. Fire. Fire dad jokes. Alright, let's try again. So, Postman. We'll send our webhook. That was successful. Now let's go back to our dashboard. Here we go. So we got our data. So let's select format. This is JSON. Why can't I? Oh, it's not JSON. This is actual C#. It's like a serialized version of it. So let's where is it? Oh, it's not what I wanted. All right, so what do we got in here? We've got account ID. So that's one. We have another one here. Another one there. Another one there. So how many are there? There's like 5 in here, huh? I don't see any transaction data though. Do you? I don't see any place where they're actually showing us transactions. I see like we're getting a balance, right? See last updated time. But I don't see any actual transaction data. Am I looking at the wrong place? I must be looking at the wrong place. What hangs off this? Sync transaction. What is it? Sync transaction response dot. Oh, here we go. There's added and there's removed. Transactions that have been removed from the item. Transactions that have been added. A description of the update status for transaction pools. This field contains the same information provided by transactions webhooks and may be helpful for webhook troubleshooting. Okay. And this is the next cursor that we need to update. So here's what I'm thinking. Is this all right now is happening in line? This should all probably be happening in the background. We shouldn't do the webhook processing in line. We should add them to a queue and process them in the background. A durable one, right? We probably want to use something like Redis, not Redis. What's the RabbitMQ? Probably want to use something like RabbitMQ, something that's a durable place where we can store things to be processed. And then we can use a hosted background service to do the processing. But that way we kind of get this logic out of this handler, and we can just say, oh, you're a sync update available webhook. Okay, great. You go to this processor, or you go to this queue, this webhook queue, and we have a processor in the background that takes care of actually ingesting the transactions. That's probably the right design. It probably doesn't matter considering there's only ever going to be 2 users of this application, you know, and only a few accounts and whatnot. But we probably shouldn't, this probably don't want to block here while we do the processing. Okay. We need to add the transactions. Let's also only add transactions that have posted. That way we don't have to deal with transactions that were pending and then remove them after the fact. I've always hated that about certain applications. Mint does that, YNAB does that, where you get like they always show you like the pending transactions, and then sometimes those transactions like fall away, and you're like, well, that's so annoying. Why did you even show that to me in the first place? I don't need to know. I just want to know exactly what is the concrete balance and the concrete transactions for my account. I don't need to know about all the intermediate stuff. All right, we still have a lot of work here to do, but I feel like I have a good handle on what we need to do as next steps. There's also...
I'd like to say something.
Add a block of code where if the users are not from the same network, it shows random data to confuse the hackers. Taps temple with finger for the funnies.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah, good little Easter egg there. Honestly, I'll host a 3-day party if my application even gets 1,000 users. Yeah, I have no intention. This is definitely something I'm building to solve my own problems. It's not at all something I'm building with anybody else in mind, right? It's gonna be 2 apps. They live in containers. They live on my server. Only I ever log in. And then I've also got to figure out how I can share my accounts with my wife so she can log in and see the same information. But that'll basically be the only people to ever use this, at least to use the version that I deploy. It'll be publicly available, so if people want to or it'll be open source, so if people want to pull it down and experiment with it themselves, that's a whole different thing. But I'm not I'm not going to provide a hosted version for people to sign up to. Okay, I feel pretty good about this. I still feel like there's a bunch of edge cases with the Plaid API and its data that I don't understand yet. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a separate sync event for investments. Like, I think Plaid... let's see. Let's ask Bill. Yo, Bill. Does Plaid treat investment accounts and transactions differently? See what Bill says. I'm pretty sure they do, because when I was looking at their documentation, it seemed like there was... Yeah. You have banking, depository credit is handled by the transactions product for things like checking, savings, credit card accounts. Investment activity, like IRAs, 401ks, brokerage account is handled by the investment product. For investment products, you use endpoints like investment holdings get or investment transactions get. Banking transactions provide details like merchant, category account. Investment transactions have information unique to securities. To retrieve banking transaction, you use transaction sync for what the user owns for the investment activity. Can banking endpoints pull investment data? No. You need investment transactions. So that's going to be a whole separate... That's going to have to be a whole separate thing we implement. So we should probably build our application in a way to make it fairly easy to extend. Where are the docs? Did he link to any docs? Yeah, there we go. Investment API. They don't support webhooks? Investment data ready. New transactions available. New holdings available. Yeah, so we have to process a whole different webhook. We have to have a whole different flow. Item ID, user ID. New investment transaction, canceled investment transactions. All right, we got a long way to go. I feel like this project's actually... I thought this project actually would be pretty low effort, but it's actually pretty involved. but I'm enjoying myself. I'm learning a lot. I like the tech stack we're working with. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. All right, guys, it's past 7 o'clock. It's 7:30, so I gotta go do the normal person stuff, the non-YouTuber life stuff. LL, imagine someone uses it to make $1 million company. Yeah, we should probably put a GPL license on it or something, so people can't resell clothes. I think that's what I think I might already have it. I think that might be the license I already have. Yeah, I put a GPL license on it, so people can definitely take it and make a commercial product, but they have to contribute their changes back to the open. Although I'm not going to hire a lawyer to enforce it. So I don't know how much licenses really matter. I don't know how like based on my own experience, companies don't pay a whole lot of attention to software licenses, whether they're open source or closed source. All right, chat. Anything you guys want to talk about before we go? Cough, cough. So true. It really is. It really is. I mean, it's kind of shitty. I really hate that, but it really is true. I mean, the licenses are there to try to deter people, but the fact is that there's usually very little consequence for violating the license that people just do. You know, most people building these open source projects don't have the financial backing to actually enforce anything. So I was just cleaning up my workspace. Interesting world we live in, yeah. Isn't it? It is a very interesting world we live in. Oh, whoops! I closed speaker bot. I shouldn't have closed speaker bot. Okay, I think a win is a win, right? Today we did. Let's see. Today, what did we do today? We added Markdown link support to Zoe, which is my baby Rust notepad app. We got transaction webhooks working in physical OS. And we did not, I repeat, we did not have a crash out about artificial intelligence. So today was a win. Yeah, good job, chat. I hope you guys got some stuff done too while we were working. I hope you guys were able to make a little bit of progress on your stuff. I probably need to log a bug about this because I don't understand why. I wonder if I open a new terminal if it thinks that it. I wonder if it's just because I'm in the same session where I did the update. Let's see. Aspire run. See what happens. I did eat 2 beef jerkies. Nice. I love beef jerky so much. Beef jerky is so expensive here in the United States. I don't know if it's expensive where you are, Artwork Studios, but beef jerky is like this luxury item at the grocery store. Or at least for me it is. It's so expensive. Blackfire, I did. I'm porting a Wolfenstein style render onto a robot that has a small screen. Definitely not intended to run the render. What a cool project. What an interest. None of my projects are that interesting. I'm over here like, let me build my own version of a finance spreadsheet. And you're over here putting screens on robots. Nice. Yeah, something's wrong, man. Because whenever I updated it, didn't I? I think it's trying to, let's see. Aspire 13.1 includes breaking changes to Azure Redis. If you are in version of lessons, please use the easiest way to upgrade to Aspire 13 is using that Aspire command. To update the CLI itself, type update self. Oh. This message needs to be updated then. I'm gonna log that. Is that kind of nitpicky of me? I don't think that's nitpicky. I think I should try to help them make their stuff better. Aspire update message. Example. Save. Also, Stephen, putting a piece of beef jerky in bread is probably one of the best things I've eaten. Here, the jerky is like a big piece of meat coated in honey. Oh, interesting. I've never had a jerky like that. Let's do Aspire update dash self. Stable. Cool. Aspire dev CLI. Oh, you guys can't see any of this stuff I'm doing. That's funny. I need to go, but I think I'm gonna try to fix this maybe. Can you show me where in this repo the Aspire update message is generated? I guess we should also make sure that somebody hasn't already logged the same issue. Let's do update command. Oh, yeah, we should probably still search against open. Ah, what's happening? Update message. There's a lot of failing tests. I think they use Copilot quite a bit in this repo, I think, to do a lot of stuff. So I bet a lot of this stuff is automated. I don't see a thing. I don't see anything. I'll search. Let's see. So CLI update command. It's none of that. None of that's right. Let's see. Search for this text. Aspire update. Why is the jerky so expensive where you are? I don't know. I think it's just the fact that jerky gets dehydrated, so the yield is very low, right? See, this should be update dash self. See, it says try updating the Aspire CLI with Aspire update, but Aspire update does not update the CLI anymore. They really should change that. All right, I'm not gonna do this right now. I don't have any. We don't have time for this, but I do think I'd like to try to fix that. It's kind of a silly small thing, but all right, guys. Are you sick at the moment? No, I'm not sick. Why do I look sick? What are you trying to say? No, I'm not sick. I need to go though. It's 7:40. I'm gonna be late for work. No, just curious. No, I'm not sick. It could be my voice has always kind of sound a little nasally, so maybe that's why. Yeah, have a good day, Jack. All right, chat, I'm out of here. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, the best place to find us live is on Twitch or YouTube every morning from 4:15 a.m. to about 7 o'clock. I have no idea why YouTube doesn't respond to the schedule command anymore. I need to figure that out. And then if you want to come back and hang out outside of stream, you can go to discord.stephenfreeborn.com, which I put that link in the chat as well. That's the best place to find us when we're not live. Let's see, wait, but it does. No, it doesn't. For whatever reason, my bot doesn't respond right now to the schedule command, and I don't know why. I'm guessing it's something in my streamer bot config. Let's see. Post schedule. Twitch and YouTube messages. Post YouTube. Yeah, I'm not sure why it doesn't work.
We can't see your screen, bruh.
I know, I don't have anything on it, but there's nothing to show you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Bye, chat. Have a good day. See you guys. Appreciate y'all. Bye. Bye, guys. See you, Blackfire. See you, Jack. Fireworks Studios. Bye, D. See y'all. Have a good day.